I'm joining in 2 minutes, please.
Jai Gajanan. Ganeshaya Namastubhyam, Herambaya Ekadantini, Swanandavasine Tubhyam, Brahmanaspataye Namaha. So we were
Om Ganesha.
Om Ganeshaya Namaha. So we were looking at the story of Moha Surah, who finally surrendered to Mahodara. Mahodara had come with the intention of killing him because of the appeal made by rishis, munis, and all the Ishvaras that he has taken away our positions, and now he has even deprived of us of our food, our essential means of living by doing away with yajna karmas. So they had invoked Ganesha to kill him, and so Mahodara manifested. But finally, Moha Surah understood the significance of the incarnation of Mahodara, and he felt that his infatuation, it is his fault, it is his weakness, and so he surrendered to Mahodara, and Mahodara forgave him and told him to remain within his boundaries in the Patal Loka and only take the fruits of those people who do not who are not devotees or who are not doing the performing the puja of Ganesha before beginning of any work or any activity. So then after blessing them all, Mahodara disappears, and then uh, Valakilya rishis, they are listening to this legend from Surya. Surya is narrating the story, and Mudgalacharya is narrating to Daksha Prajapati what he's hearing between Yagnavalkya and Surya, the conversation between Yagnavalkya and Surya, and at the same time, the Sutta and Sutta is narrating to all the stories of incarnation of Ganesha to Shaunaka and others. So Surya continues. He says, "I'll tell you one more story about the greatness of Mahodara, incarnation of Mahodara." And so he says, "I'm narrating to you this conversation between Narayana and Markandeya." Now, Markandeya Rishi, Markande Muni was the son of Mrukund. So, in the ancient times, this Markandeya Muni, he was initiated into the Veda mantras, the Brahm. He was given the thread ceremony. And he was initiated into the Gayatri Mantra. So he solely focused on Gayatri Mantra. So he went into the forest and chanted the Gayatri Mantra for several years. And he made in his ashram, he was constantly chanting the Gayatri Mantra. And so pleased with his penance, Shiva, after almost 10,000 years, 10,000 years of chanting of this Gayatri Mantra, Shiva, Parvati, and all the Ganas landed up in his ashram. They all came to his ashram to see him, to bless him actually. And at that time, Markandeya Rishi was with his eyes closed. He was chanting the Gayatri Mantra. He was engrossed in the chanting of Gayatri Mantra. He didn't realize that Shiva, Parvati, and all of them had come in front of him. So what Shiva did was, through his yogic powers, he entered into the heart of Markandeya Rishi. Now, Markandeya was actually, he was chanting, or I mean, he was meditating with Vishnu in his heart. He was having the image of Vishnu. He was a devotee of Vishnu. And suddenly Shiva, he entered into the heart of, in his form. As a Shankara, he entered into the heart, and suddenly Markandeya woke up. And he said, "Arey, I was looking at Vishnu. I had the vision of Vishnu in my heart. And suddenly, how does Shiva appear there?" And so he got up, he woke up like that, his eyes opened, and he saw that Shiva, Parvati, all of them are right in front of him. And so they said that we are pleased with you, that, "O Muni, I'm pleased with your penance and chanting of the Gayatri Mantra." Gayatri Mantra is the mother of Vedas, and the Om from which the Gayatri Mantra is derived is the father. So, and we all worship the Omkara, we all chant the mantra Omkara. So, we are all very pleased with your penance. Ask for whatever you want, whatever boon you may wish for. So the Mahamuni replied that grant me devotion, complete devotion and the liberation from the ocean of samsara. Shiva, just a minute. So Shiva, so Shiva said, ask for any boon, whatever you may want. The Mahamuni said, grant me liberation from this ocean of samsara. I want liberation from this ocean of samsara. So Shankara said, O Mahamuni, your devotion is so steadfast that you will attain complete liberation. But I bless you that you will be an eternal guru, teacher of you will be the preceptor, that is the one who gives a mantra, initiates someone into the mantra. And since you chanted the Gayatri Mantra for 10,000 years, you will become the preceptor of the Gayatri Mantra and spiritual teacher of the Gayatri Mantra, and your lifespan will be 7 kalpas. One kalpa, one kalpa is 1 day in the life of Brahma. That is 4 crores 32 lakh years.
Reduce your pitch.
4 crore 32 lakh years. So, O Mahamuni, your lifespan will be 7 kalpas. 7 kalpas means imagine 7 days. So 4 crore 32 lakh is 1 day in the life of Brahma. So Markandeya Rishi almost he is living eternally. So he blessed this. He blessed Markandeya Rishi. And if you know of it, Markandeya Rishi was the one who wrote the Markandeya Purana. Markandeya Purana, in that it mentions, speaks of the Shiva and Shakti, the various incarnations of Shiva, Shakti, and also he mentions about Shakti who in the Lenyadri mountains in Maharashtra, where we have where Shakti worshipped. She did penance in that Lenyadri mountains, and there is a Ganapati, a manifestation of Ganesha there, where she had prayed in that cave. In the cave in Lenyadri mountains, you can find the Ganesha where Shakti worshipped. So Markandeya Rishi, in Markandeya Purana only, he talks about all the chakras, all the 7 chakras, Kundalini awakening, and all of that also. So Markandeya Rishi, he adopted Shaivism. Now that Shiva had initiated him, he adopted Shaivism and he started meditating on Shiva. And slowly he developed a detachment. He became devoid of all infatuations. The Moha Maya disappeared. And then he wrote the Markandeya Purana, which expounds the glory of Shiva and Shakti. So then, after some time, quite some time, Nara and Narayana, two Ishvaras, they visited the Rishi Markandeya. After he had finished the writing the Markandeya Purana and all, Nara and Narayana visited this Rishi in his ashram. So this Surya is narrating the story of two Valakilya. He's saying, um, this my son Dharma. Now Surya is narrating. If you remember, in the earlier khand we had seen Surya in an earlier chapter. We saw the wives of Surya and who were the sons of Surya, who were born from Sanjana and who were born from Chaya. So Dharma was one of the sons of Surya. So Dharma, he had married Kriti, his wife was Kirti, and they had done penance to please Vishnu. So they had prayed to Vishnu that he should incarnate as their son. So Vishnu said Tatastu, and he was born as two sons, Nara and Narayana. They were the two sons, um, and this that time it was believed. Now Nara and Narayana, if you remember, in Kashi, was a place where this Nara and Narayana had done penance. Nara and Narayana, not Dharman, the Dharma and Kirti. The Nara and Narayana had installed themselves, and there they had done penance. Now it was believed in by the people that Nara and Narayana, the union of Nara and Narayana is Brahma. So. So that is why this Nara and Narayana are almost referred to as Ishvaras. Generally, there are five Ishvaras. That is Shiva, Shakti, Surya, Shiva, Vishnu, Shakti, Surya, and Ganesh or Ganesh. These are the five, or Brahma, you can say. And these are the five Ishvaras, Brahma Deva. These are the five Ishvaras. But Nara and Narayana are also considered Ishvaras when Surya narrates to them, because the union of Nara and Narayana is considered as Brahma Deva. So that Brahma Deva is Vaishnava Brahma, whom the Vaishnavas worship as Brahma. Brahma Deva is the creator, but he is a grandfather, you can say. So Vaishnavites, Vaishnava Brahma is this Nara Narayana together, is considered as incarnation. So that is why they are referred to as Parmeshwara also. Surya clarifies. So then, after some time, this Nara and Narayana worship, Nara and Narayana also do penance, and they Vishnu manifest. This Vishnu is Maha Vishnu. Narayana himself are the part incarnation of Vishnu, but Maha Vishnu manifests before them. And then Mahavishnu says, the Nara and Narayana chant various stotras in praise of Mahavishnu. They please Mahavishnu and says, "Oh Munis, what do you want?" So this Nara Narayana, who were ascetics, okay, they were ascetics. They said, "Oh Mahavishnu, you have got the knowledge of Ganesha directly from Ganesha himself. So please tell us the knowledge of Ganesha." So Vishnu began giving the knowledge of Ganesha. He says the chitta is of five types. Now here we must, and then he speaks about Maya. Maya first manifests as a chitta. What is Maya? Maya, we think, explains two meanings of Maya. One is the Maya that is changeable. Everything that changes is Maya. So we say it is illusory. Illusory because, and because Maya is constantly fluctuating, constantly changing, and it assumes so many different forms. So we say it is illusory. That is almost magical. Like a magic show, we say, because it is all constantly changing. But Maya, yeah, is also a spiritual concept. And what is that? Is because it is Maya, which is constantly changing, it hides that which is real. So it is unreal. So the power or the principle that conceals the true character of the spiritual reality. So that is another meaning of Maya. One Maya is the materialistic changing, which is changes constantly changing. That is illusory, and also that which is so here we use the term avarana. Avarana is covering. Maya is actually a covering of the spiritual reality. So this is the second meaning which Mahavishnu explains to Narayana. Then he speaks about the fivefold chitta. Now, fivefold chitta, we have already seen the tendencies of the mind. Yeah, the tendencies of the mind was what? Kshipta, Vikshipta, Moodha, Ekagra, and Niruddha. That is that which gets attracted to something, then which gets confused, then which becomes deluded, or Moodha, that is um, confused, or we can say um, attached attached to something, and then ekagra, concentrated, and nivrutti or niruddha, which is restraint. So these are the tendencies of the mind, but Mahavishnu speaks of five variations of the mind. What are the five variations of the mind? Five variations are: chitta is consciousness, or we can say consciousness matter. It is a matter. but it is mental matter, you can say mental mind conscious, which is a conscious matter of the matter. So this here five chitta vrittis in this he uses the same term vrittis, but here it is five variations of the mind, not tendencies, variations. So which are the five variations? That is pramana, correct knowledge; viparyaya, that is misconception; vikalpa, conceptualization; nidra, sleep or absence of the knowledge of the reality, means not ignorance, you can say; and smruti, memory. So these are five other variations of the mind, or we can say five aspects of the mind. One is what? Pramana, correct knowledge, that is evidence, what we call as evidence. Then viparyaya, misconception, that is assumptions or perceptions; vikalpa, conceptualization, that is we give vikalpa, that is options, we can say concepts, or choices, different choice. Nidra, nidra is sleep, or which is absence of knowing reality, means awakened reality. And smriti, that is memory. So the vrittis, these vrittis can be painful or non-painful. Some vrittis are painful when it is when there's emotion involved, and or sometimes, or it may be non-painful when you're detached, when there is no emotions attached to it. So these are vrittis. Vrittis can create anxiety, or it can and destroy peace also. So these are the five types of chitta variations of the mind, which Mahavishnu teaches Nara Narayana. And then he also explains who is a yogi. A yogi is one who takes care of his chitta. That is, he sees to it that his chitta is always peaceful. He doesn't allow any vikshipta, any variations to occur in the mind, anything which will disturb the peace of the mind or balance of his mind. So he compares them to like an ocean. He's like an ocean in the sense that so many rivers are pouring their waters into the ocean, but the ocean is unaffected. The ocean is remained the same. How much ever rivers come and pour the waters into the ocean does not cross its boundaries. It remains that same level, that same boundaries. That is why all the continents have the same shape. The shape over centuries, this continents are of the same shape. Only when there is certain imbalance in nature, then certain areas get submerged underground into the waters. Otherwise, oceans always have a maryada. They maintain their boundaries. So a yogi is like that. In spite of all the rivers merging into it, the ocean does not change. So also, whatever thoughts may come and go, he is not in his chitta. He is not affected. His peace is not affected. So he says that is because chintamani he is living in their minds, or they are established in chintamani. And who is chintamani? Chintamani is the one who illuminates the mind, which is the jewel in the heart of Ganesha, which is symbolically he is Chintamani is the jewel which Ganesha wears. So he's in this way he gives the knowledge of Ganesha by by differentiating what is illusory, what is the mind, and what is a changeless part of the mind, and what is that which illuminates the mind. So after explaining all this to Nara Narayana, Vishnu goes back to Vaikuntha Loka. Nara Narayana attained peace by listening to this discourse from Mahavishnu. So now Nara Narayana, after Mahavishnu goes back, they they are living in the ashram, and they start chanting the Ganesha Mahamantra. And what is now when Mahavishnu tells this Chintamani, the one who wears that Chintamani jewel is Heramba. Heramba is that aspect of Gajanana. Heramba. So that these people, this is a four letter word, Mahamantra. And so this Nara Narayana chant Heramba, 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 Mahamantra for a number of years. So they chant that mantra for 100 years, and then Heramba, Ganesha in the form of Heramba manifests before them, riding on his Mushaka along with Siddhi Buddhi, four-armed with a Sheshnaga tied around his waist. He with completely with all kinds of ornaments, wearing all kinds of ornaments, he comes in front of them, manifests before them, this Nara Narayana. They bow down in reverence, and they sing his praise. They do perform as puja. They find this the Heramba had Trishul in his hand, Trishula, goat, mallet in his hand. That is that mudgar. That is staff. And all this, and then the yogis, these yogis perform Dandavat Pranam, and then they sing his praise. नमस्ते गणनाथाय भक्त संरक्षकाय ते भक्तेभ्यो भक्तिदात्रे वै हेरम्बाय नमो नमः अनाथानां विशेषेण नाथाय गजवक्त्रिणे चतुर्बाहुधरायैव लम्बोदर नमोऽस्तु ते दुण्डये सर्वसाराय नानाभेदप्रचारिणे भेदहीनाय देवाय नमः चिन्तामणि नमः सिद्धिबुद्धिपते तुभ्यं सिद्धिबुद्धि स्वरूपिणे योगाय योगनाथाय शूर्पकर्णाय ते नमः सगुणाय नमस्तुभ्यं निर्गुणाय परमात्मने सर्वपूज्याय सर्वाय देवदेवाय ते नमः ब्रह्मणा ब्रह्मणे तुभ्यं सदा शान्तिप्रदायक सुखशान्तिधरायैव नाभिशेषाय ते नमः पूर्णाय पूर्णनाथाय पूर्णानन्दाय ते नमः योगमाया प्रचालाय हेलकाय नमो नमः अनादये नमस्तुभ्यं आदिमध्यान्तमूर्तये सृष्टे प्राते पात्रे च संहर्त्रे सिंहवाहाय ते नमः गताभिमानिनां नाथ त्वमेवात्र न संशय तेन हेरम्ब नामासि विनायक नमोऽस्तु ते. So to this one who to that Gananatha who has manifested with the name of Heramba, we bow down to you. So one who is the absolute, who is the Lord of the absolute, Yoga Maya Prachalaya, one who has taught the concept of Yoga Maya, and who has propagated that, to him we bow down. So in this way they extol the praise of Gajanana, Gananatha, Heramba, and Heramba. Then he say after that they say how much more can we praise you? Words are insufficient. Saying after chanting this whole stotra, they stand silently in front of him. Heramba was very much pleased. He lifted them up and they said, I am captivated by your devotion, O Munis. You will enlighten the path of yoga. I shall grant you whatever you desire. So, and he says that this stotra that you have composed will provide enjoyment and liberation. I shall bless all the devotees who chant this stotra. So, saying this, both the Munis, Nara and Narayana, they joined their palms in reverence and they said, Oh Vignapa, if you are pleased with us and want to grant us boons, then grant us that our devotion to you will be steadfast and unwavering. So Gananatha said, Tatastu, and returned to Swanandaloka. So Nara and Narayana, they were the ones who chanted this, they gave to us this stotra, He Ramba. He Ramba Gajanana, Gajanana Om Gajavadana. So this Gajanana's name as He Ramba was given to us by Nara and Narayana. It is like almost an embodiment of knowledge. That is the one who enlightens. So it is like a Vidya, the one who gives Vidya. So if you worship Heram Gajanana as with the mantra Heramba, you will get the knowledge of Gajanana. So they installed the idol of Heramba and worshipped them and made this incarnation of Gajanana famous for the practice of attaining the knowledge of the path of yogic peace. What knowledge is necessary for attaining Shanti Yoga? That is bestowed by Heramba. That is why even in Yogendra Mutt, we had Ganesh Yogendracharya Maharaj who gave us this Mudgal Puran, means in Kali Yuga. That is Dundi Maharaj, a Brahmin, personally came, and every Chaturthi he would give some chapters, and then the next Chaturthi he would take away those chapters and give a fresh lot. So between these two Chaturthis, Ganesh Yogendra Maharaj used to copy down, and then he wrote the commentary in Sanskrit on this Mudgal Puran. So then in that lineage, for after he wrote that Mudgal Puran, he took Samadhi. He lived for 228 years. He took Samadhi in 1727, from 1499 to 1727. Then after that, he left. He took Samadhi. Samadhi is there in Morgaon. Then this book that he had written was kept in one trunk. After 100, nearly 75 to 80 years, Ankushdhari Maharaj, he was from Konkan. And he got in a dream that there was this Mudgal Puran is there, that you should go and search Mudgal Puran. So he went, he became in search of Mudgal Puran. He searched in several universities. He didn't find anywhere. Finally, he found it in Mudgala, in Morgaon, in one trunk locked up. He took it out and he started reading it. And then he started narrating the Mudgal, reading and to a group of people. So one of the students was Heramba Shastri, Heramba Maharaj, Heramba Shastri, who was a student of Ankushdhari Maharaj, and he published all the teachings, the what Ankushdhari Maharaj used to say, and then he used to write down in Marathi, commentary in Marathi, the whatever he understood, he wrote in Marathi, and serially he had published in Ankush magazine. One Ankush magazine he used to bring out, handwritten magazine. Few people, few hundred I don't know how many copies he would have been making out of it, and he monthly magazine, and this used to be published. And then afterwards, in 1970, he too attained Samadhi, and after that, in 1970, this whole thing, all this Ankush, what was published in this Ankush magazine in 1950s, 60s, and 70s, all that was accumulated and brought together as a book, which was Mudgal Puran, and also several other things like Ganesh Vijay, and a few other book of Ganesh Vijay, and all the collections of many of his. He has written many artis also, artis, poems. These things were all accumulated and finally published. So now it is all available in Yogendra Mutt in Morgaon. So this is how we got this treasure, which was locked away in one trunk for 100 years, finally discovered by Ankushdhari Maharaj, and then Heramba Shastri, Heramba, which is, see, that is why even this Nara Narayana, some ages, yugas ago, had chanted the name of Heramba. But ultimately, one person with Heramba name had to bring it out to us. The one who provides knowledge of the path of yoga. So even that is how names is important. Any name is important because it carries that vibration of what you're supposed to do in life. It carries that life's purpose in it. It is hidden in the name itself. So that is uh, this story of Nara Narayana. We will see more about after. about Nara and Narayana and about Maya. So later on, there is a description of Surya is narrating to this Valakilya Rishi, and he speaks about Maya, more about Maya and other things in the next chapter. So this concludes our narration of chapter 13 of the part 3 of Srimad Mudgal Puran. We'll
This
continue.
Markandeya had a tussle with Yama sometime.
When he was a kid, when he was a child. When he was a
I
child, his
remember
father,
somewhere.
yeah, so his father was very generous. So he used to give to the poor. He used to I think the one he asked, there is a very Kena Upanishad or Katha Upanishad, one of the Upanishads, it is there, where he asked, why don't you give me also away to Yamra, to something like that? That conversation happens, and that why don't you give him? So that is where the conversation. Why don't you give me to also to Yamraj? If you don't want me alive, like I think he hated him or something like that. So that is how he has a conversation between Yama. When Yama takes him away, then he gets all that knowledge, and then he one of the Upanishads it is there.
Marathi, there's one verse
Uh,
where it says मार्कंडेय ने यम हटविला.
hmm.
उसका स्पीड कम कर दिया, चालीला मंद. It is like, chanda means your, you can say hobby, or you're mad after something. Suppose a person say, उसको छंद है, क्या करने का, वही ध्यान करने का बस.
Hmm.
तो असाधरी छंद,
That is
जाई,
Makaranda. Makaranda. That is not Markandeya. It is Makaranda.
मार्कंडेय. That name
Okay.
I remember properly because we used to recite this when we were small. And there
Hmm.
was one person next to our house. He used to full day, do this only. He used to sing and all that. So we used to
Hmm.
just sit, कुछ समझता तो नहीं था, but those words, they stuck.
Yeah.
हाँ,
So
असाधरी छंद, listen, असाधरी छंद जाई तुटोन या भवबंध. Means all relations you leave aside. When you, भगवान
So
का
you'll
जब
get
ध्यान आता है.
detached. That is, if you
Yeah.
develop this hobby of devotion to the Lord, then you will forget all other hobbies. What other attachments? What other distractions? All the other distractions you'll forget, and you will get attracted to this one chanda. This becomes a force to reckon with. That's what it is.
There's a small bird, titivi. You must have heard of it. So she drank the whole sea. उसको ध्यान यही था, छंद लग गया था. मेरे को समुद्र को पूरा पीना है.
Hmm.
उसको छंद बोलते हैं.
Hmm.
कंप्लीट डिवोशन.
Yeah, that was one story in the textbooks in our school also.
अच्छा.
Mm, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so here if we look at a yogi, who is a yogi? Now we so many incarnations we find Shiva, Shakti, Vishnu, Surya, all of them. Finally, they become yogis. Who's a yogi? A one and yogi. Initially, we start with worship of one deity, whom we adore, whose qualities we like, or whose appearance, whose form impresses us, or whom we are instructed into. Now, for example, in houses where Vishnu Sahasranamam was chanted a lot, then you will naturally get affiliated, you will get attracted to Vishnu, Maha Vishnu as a deity. And then you have all related to that kind of stories you will read, or you'll read the Bhagavatam, Krishna avatar, Rama avatar, and all that. Vishnu. Some of them, there are some sections of our society who are Shaivites. Basically, they will worship only Shiva. And there's always, although they say, in Rama says Shiva is living in my heart, Shiva says I am meditating on Rama. Although they Rama and Shiva, that is basically Shiva and Vishnu, are in each other's hearts, but there's always a tussle between the two. There is the Shaivites will not agree to Vaishnavites, so they have separate temples, these people have separate temples, so there's always a quarrel, or I mean arguments arise. My God is superior, your God is superior, and things like that. Then we have, in some areas of India only, is where we have Shakti worship. Like in Bengal, it is there. Then in South also, in
For
Kerala
you,
also.
your God is superior. For me, my God is superior.
Yes, for they will say my this Devi is only superior to all. She is the one
Yeah.
who is the creator of everything. She is the one who is more powerful and everything. So Shakti worship is there. Then even in Gujarat there is a lot of Shakti worship. North also. Then you have like in Assam and all, Katyayani, and various forms of Shakti worships are there. Wherever the when Sati immolated herself, Shiva took her body and it got dispersed. Her different parts of the body fell in so many places in the country, in the on earth. So all of these places are Shakti Pitas. So a certain portion of somewhere the ears fell down, somewhere the nose fell down, somewhere the hand fell down, some finger. So all these parts, wherever they are felt, they are all considered Shakti Pitas. So their Shakti worship is always there. So in this way, we can't say that there is only one deity of worship in the country. And in our country, we have been worshipping all kinds of gods. We worship demons also. We worship
Whoever
bhoots
you
also.
can do worship.
Yeah,
There's
as
no
long
restriction.
as you consider them superior to you. Anyone who's considered superior, better in power, better for strength, some kind of a strength, stronger, we worship. Then we have Surya worship also. Surya worship where Gayatri Mantra chanting is there. Surya is considered the Atma in all. And because Surya, the one who illuminates, is the Atma in all. And ultimately, Gananatha is the enlightener of Surya, means one who provided enlightenment, who is the Chintamani in that Surya, in that Atma. So actually, Gananatha also is worshipped. Ganesha is the ultimate Atma, says who is the enjoyer in the Atma. Enjoyer in the Atma, as Chintamani remains in the Atma, which is Surya. So in this way, we have that kind of worship also. Those who worship Ganesha also they worship through Gayatri Mantra, which is Gayatri Mantra is of Surya actually. So we can say we have panchayat. That is why we have this system of panchayatana devas. Panchayatana, even though we may worship one god, we have all the five devas in our puja. Panchayatana, that is in the whoever's your favorite deity you keep in the center, and then on the other sides you keep Shakti, Surya, the Vishnu, Shiva, all of them. If Ganesh is in the center, then Shakti, Surya, Vishnu, Shiva is on the others. If Vishnu is in the center, then Ganesha, Shakti, Surya, Shiva is. So in this way, we worship all five of them. Panchayatana puja, we have it, and that's most common even in anything. And of course, Jeshta, as Ganesha, we worship as a Jeshta Raja also, before as a Vigna Vinayaka, who will destroyer of obstacles. That role of Ganesha is separate, irrespective of if he is a favorite deity or not. तो वो दो बार हो जाता है उनका पूजा. But ज्येष्ठ राजा as in the beginning as a Vigna Vinayaka we worship. So in this way we have all kinds of worship in this country.
Look at the contrast.
Uh,
We have so many gods, whereas
yes,
they have only Allah and Christ.
yes. And still we have a confusion or a conflict, and we call this Hinduism. But Hinduism is a way of life. So we cannot say that who are because there are so many gods and so many and all these gods are different functionaries. They are different functionaries:
Jobs are
preserver,
different.
creator, maintenance, everything. All these are functionaries. And so we worship all of them because they all contribute to our living, basically our way of life. So we worship them as trees. We worship Shakti as a tree also. We worship Shakti as a lion, animal, tiger, everything. So we worship these powers even in any aspect of nature. So we cannot say that Hinduism is means it is a way of life.
It's
So
a way of life.
unlike
It's not a religion.
other religions where they have certain dogmas, like Islam, Christianity, Judaism,
They are believers. We are
Jewish.
seekers.
Then you have Zoroastrianism, and that is a part. All of them, they have one particular leader or one particular person whom they consider as a prophet or a guru or a teacher or a seer or somebody who has come to guide them to how to live. And so they teach them how to live. So, and it is always with regard to circumstances or situation in that area of the earth wherever they manifested. Muhammad manifested in the Middle East, then if some in Jerusalem, Jesus Christ, or Bethlehem, Jesus Christ, then wherever Zoroaster was there. So, like this, wherever they manifest, in whichever region, so the people in that region considered him as their guide, or as the one who founded their religion. Means that is, they give a certain, in that region, according to the requirement of that area of this on this earth, they said you should live like this. That is, if you have to wear a particular clothes, if you have to wear the dressing, the full, the covering the head, or putting the ring
I was
around the
thinking of that
waist,
only
because
when
it will not fly away in the desert. But so they have a particular poshak, a particular dress code, we can say dress code, as well as the behavioral code of conduct, code of family, code of all these rules and regulations. They form. So Christians, they say it is the Testament, 10 Commandments. Then the Mohammedans, they have their own Quran, which gives the guidelines of how to live, all rules and detailed laws. Some are
no, but
detailed, some are not detailed.
Quran has been interpreted in many ways according
So
to
each
their.
of these books have their code of conduct, and some are detailed, some are very vague. And from that vagueness, number of detailed books are written. So all of them follow. In India, because there are so many gods, and each of them have a Puran. That is, they have stories about their manifestation. There is no particular rule and regulation which says that you should do like this, you should do like that. But the way the Vedas, the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, these Vedas gives rules of performance of puja, rituals. The rituals which we have to do, the mantras that are to be chanted while making offerings to your deity of worship, they give the mantras. That is, I'm offering this. So here it is generally Vedas. You can say they are manuals, like manuals of which gives a computer comes with a manual. So that manual of instructions of the worship of whatever deity you want to do. So even in Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, Yajur Veda is generally for Vishnu, Samaveda is for Shiva. So Rig Veda is Brahma, generally Brahma as a whole, as a creator. It contains many parts of various the other also, Indra, Varuna, Agni, Vayu, all of them. So all of them contains rituals of worship, the processes, guidelines of worship, of rituals, generally performance of yagna or vrata, that is fasting, how you do penance, austerity, what kind of austerities you can do to please this. So these are, we can say, generally a manual of instructions, all of them, Vedas. So ultimately, we have a whole kind of a set of literature which contains historical records, itihasas, Puranas, which gives the stories of the various incarnations. Then we have these guidelines, which has been tabulated, divided, organized properly according to the various sects, that is classified of people who do the left side worship, right side worship, all kinds of worship, who worship idols, who worship through yajnas, yagas, all of them detailed instructions are given. And there are various also methods for appeasement, or you can say when we get leprosy, or when we get typhoid, when we get cholera, so what yajna yagas should we do to this get rid of that diseases. So these are all detailed instructions given in these. Then even for ancestors, what all karmas you have to do for the ancestors, for during the 13 days before, after, then every the monthly, the annually, various the processes. These are all that is para and apara vidya, for that which is beyond, and that is which we when we are living on earth. So these are all knowledge, a knowledge based foundation. Everything is knowledge based for a scientifically arrived at knowledge base. It includes astronomy, it includes health related, it includes geometry, mathematics, everything. So we have a whole encyclopedia on various subjects in this country, of which एक lifetime खत्म नहीं होता, means is not enough. One lifetime is not enough. Even if you undertake worship of one deity
Not just
also,
one,
it will not
many
get over.
lifetimes.
Yeah. So that is why we have a concept of rejanam, rebirth. We say that we don't our the job is not doesn't finish with one birth, so we are born over and over again, and so we have several lifetimes, and we have plenty of time. The soul doesn't die, atma is permanent, is eternal. We have to ultimately, our this earth is a school where we have to learn to align with that atma, get attunement to first initially align, then you get understand the beingness of that Atma, experience the beingness of Atma, then finally merge with the Atma, and then attain liberation, where that Atma merges with the Paramatma. So this whole process goes on and on and on, and in that process we learn a lot of things. In one janam, one birth we may be Shaivite, in another birth we may be a Vaishnavite, in another birth we may be a Shakti worshipper. So we go through the entire gamut. We go through this all this, and finally when we mature and mature, ultimately the soul matures, because we do carry energetic imprints of what we have done in the past. Whatever we, even when we die, we carry it energetically. I told you in the beginning, in the very beginning classes, where our all the energy centers forms a cocoon around the atma, around the soul, and that is what leaves the body, the physical body. Our energetic body goes as a capsule covering that soul, and goes, and that takes birth, and so that energy imprints are already there when we take a rebirth. So we may not remember the finer details of the incidents or experiences, but the energetic imprints are always there, which get manifest in a future lifetime, and which emerges. So we become wiser and wiser over several lifetimes. And then we reach a stage where we decide that enough is enough. We have to get rid of the cycle of birth and death. So then we take efforts to come out of the cycle. And so we explore deeper. That is when you become a yogi. We try to connect with that which is permanent. Yunjayate iti yoga. The one which joins the Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma is eternal, and Atma is with this covering, which keeps coming every now and then. After it takes birth every now and then. So we need to
You,
connect to that.
you can say that Atma is a Aish of Paramatma.
Atma is an ansh, but then that ansh gets covered. It gets like the mirror. उसके ऊपर
That
dust,
is it.
when the dust comes on the mirror, so
Yeah,
it is that Atma doesn't know itself. So first it has to
right.
know itself. So for that the covering has to be removed. All the dust has to be removed. So the cleansing needs to happen. So all the conditionings that we carry over several lifetimes has to be removed. So we need to get more, and that awareness has to increase in every lifetime. Every lifetime there is a chance of getting deluded, getting carried away, sidetracked, everything. But we must maintain that awareness by the discipline. And then you become little by little a yogi. And then the process of yogi starts. And a yogi has no religion. A yogi, once you become a yogi, you have no religion. So, irrespective of whatever religion you may follow, once you become a yogi, you become above all religions. So then the onward journey while living in the human body starts. While living in the human body, you don't have to die to get united with the Paramatma. Even the actual experience has to happen here in this when we are in the body, then only it will happen when we are not the body, when we are not in the body. So that experience has to happen. And that is why even gods take birth, the human birth, to have that experience. Because as gods, they cannot experience because there is no body.
They have to come here to experience that.
They have to come to experience that. So that is why they incarnate from time to time, and give us the joy of experiencing their divinity. Hmm? Provided we have the eyes to see, ears to hear, understand, the knowledge to know and recognize who is divine, the divinity in what is in front of us. So that enlightenment, that ability to see beneath the surface is what we need to develop. We can, on what we can do effort is to remove the covering, keep removing the dust, keep removing the covering, peeling off the layers. That is what we can do. That is guttam ko nikalna, chudane ka. What will ultimately remain, we don't know. So we need to remove this kind of entanglements, coverings, avran, which we call avran. That is what we will put layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. First layer, second layer, third layer. With so many layers we accumulate, we need to remove all those layers. Ultimately, when we is to get in touch with that pure essence, that pure essence. So 2 minutes we have to meditate. Close your eyes, spine erect. See that your feet are firmly planted on the floor. Bring all your attention to your core, to the deepest part of yourself, that which you consider the essence of yourself. Who am I? Where am I? Where in this body am I? Get to that point. Is it inside the body or outside the body? Find where you get that tense feeling, that intensity of awareness. Where does your attention go in your body? Where do you feel the most pressure? Scan your whole body and see, is it in your heart? Is it in your gut? Is it in your belly? Is it in the middle, in the stomach region? Is it in your liver? Is it in your spleen? Is it in your diaphragm? Is it in the sternum? Where do you feel that? Just focus on that spot. Put all your awareness in that spot where your attention has gone. As you put your attention there and increase the awareness, it just disappears. It becomes an empty space. A space of pure light. A light that just shines without any heat. Carry that light with you today and every day to come. Take a nice deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rub your hands together. Cup your palms, place it on the eyes. Gently rub your face and open your eyes.
When you're speaking, no,